Hello and welcome. This is Jennifer McGuire. I wanted to share with you in this video one way to do mirror stamping. Mirror stamping is a technique that results in a mirrored image. So you can see in my example here, the stamp is actually the deer on the right, and I use a technique to get the mirror image deer on the left. Now, I will say there are many ways to do mirror stamping, and I'm going to show you one of them in this video. At the end of this video, however, I will link to another way to do mirror stamping. It's a video that one of my friends did, so be sure to stick around for that. So let's go ahead and pick out our stamps for today. I'm actually using some new adorable stamps from the Greeting Farm. They are small stamp sets with the most adorable images on them. I'm going to be using just the deer on the set on the right, but I wanted to show you this bird set and the bunny set. I just think they're so much fun. Okay, so I have my deer image, and I am going to gold heat emboss him on white cardstock. Now, when I do mirror stamping, I like to do heat embossing. I think it's easier than using regular ink, but the video I linked to at the end of this video is one that works with just regular ink. So I'm stamping this first deer with Versamark ink onto white cardstock and adding some Wow Superfine Gold Embossing Powder. Any gold powder would work here, or you could use white or clear, whatever you want. So I've heat set him and he's ready to go, but now we need the mirror image for the deer on the left. So I am taking a piece of acetate, just some clear plastic that I have recycled from some packaging, and I am going to stamp with Versamark ink onto the acetate. Just be careful not to wiggle. It's pretty easy. Just press down and then pull it straight back up. Now I'm going to flip this over and press that ink face down onto white cardstock, making sure that I don't let the acetate shift, but I'm pressing all over that area where the image is so that all of the ink transfers from the acetate onto the cardstock. Now you'll see it's not completely perfect. There are some areas where I didn't do a good job transferring the ink. That's okay, and it may take you a few tries to get it just right, but it does a good enough job, and you'll see that the image is pretty good. Now, if there are some spots like I have on the back of his leg where it didn't completely heat emboss, you can go in either with a Versamark pen, or here I'm just using a fine white pen, a white gel pen, and I put a little bit where I need the powder to be, and it stays wet long enough for me to add some powder to it and then heat set it. So any kind of little wet marker would work for this, like a gel pen. If you have a Versamark pen, that's fantastic. You can use that. I just wanted to show you that you could use something else if you do not have the Versamark pen. So now I'm going to heat set that, and now we have two deer that are mirror images, and all I used for it was a piece of acetate to transfer that mirror image onto the cardstock. Works pretty well. I decided to keep the coloring very simple. I'm using my Copic markers to color but not do any blending. I just want some solid color. I want to keep the emphasis on the gold embossed edge, which I think is really fun. I'm being careful not to color over the embossed lines because I want to make sure that the embossed edge doesn't do any damage to the tips of my markers. After we have them colored, it's time to use the die to die cut them out. So for the regular deer, the one that I didn't do the mirror stamping technique with, it's easy to use the coordinating die with him. Just look through, line it up, add a little piece of tape so it doesn't shift, and run it through the die cut machine. Now for the mirror stamped image, the other deer, it's a little trickier because the die faces the one way. But I found something that works really well. All you do is go to the back side of that stamped image and you hold it up to the light, and you're able to see through the paper to line it up with that embossed edge. It's very easy to do. Just hold it up to the light and then tape it in place, and you can die cut that out. And I did it a few times and it worked like a charm every time. You just need that out to follow that outline edge as you hold it up to the light. By the way, I'm using 80-pound white cardstock for those, and I was able to see through it with no problem. So now I'm putting some foam tape on the back of these deer. I have a large heart that I've already die cut. This is from Memory Box. It's got a cross-stitched edge to it, which I think is fun. I'm going to take the stamped image that says "For Someone Special." This is in that same deer stamp set from the Greeting Farm. And I am going to stamp that with Versamark ink and add the same gold embossing powder to it. At this point, I decided I wanted to keep the rest of the card very simple and keep it very soft so that the focus stayed on these cute little deer. My friend Debbie Hughes always does cards in soft colors. I'll link to her channel here, and that's what inspired me to do soft colors here. Now I wanted to have a pink outline behind my heart. So I just took an extra die cut heart to use as a guide because I already glued the other one together. And I glued it onto pink cardstock and I cut around that pink until I had a nice trim. And then I took that white heart off and now I can glue this on the back of the one that we've already assembled. This just gives a nice little trim to our white heart. Now when I put this together, I realized that the pink on the cardstock was way too pinky, that it kind of clashed with the cheeks that I put on my little deer, which was more peachy. So I'm going to take that apart and take that same peach marker, the R30, that I used on the cheeks of the deer and inside the ears, and I'm just going to go around the outside edge of this heart. This will make sure that the heart actually matches my stamped images a little bit better. So that's a fun trick to do if you can't find the perfect colored cardstock, is just color it with your Copics and then it'll match perfectly. So I'm putting adhesive on this and adding it to like an ivory or cream shimmer card. Just to keep it simple, I decided not to put anything else in the background. To match the shimmer of the note card, I added a little wink of Stella to the stamped images also. Okay, so this is one way of doing mirror stamping, where you stamp on the acetate and transfer the ink onto your cardstock. But there are many ways to do this technique. I'm going to link here to a video that my friend Shari Moss did. She did it a while ago, but it's a great video showing how you can do mirror stamping using the back side of a clear stamp. It's a great technique and just another way of doing it. I encourage you to check that video out and give one of these mirror stamping techniques a try. It's really fun to do. If you are interested in any of the products I talked about, including these new stamps from the Greeting Farm, you can check my YouTube description below. I also have links to the videos that I talked about in this video, or you can go to my blog at jennifermcguireinc.com, where I always have much more information. Thanks for spending some time with me, and I hope you'll come back soon.